It was 2 years ago today that the community of Delmar suffered an unimaginable blow, the fatal attack on Corporal Keith Heacook. In the months and years since that tragedy, our community spent time healing and remembering.
And one way we've accomplished that is with Heacook Fest, which is fast approaching. And joining us for a final update on the festival, this is Doug Marshall. He is the founder of Heacook Fest. Thank you so much for being here this afternoon. Let's start off before we talk about the actual festival, which is this weekend. Can you talk a little bit about why you think this tragedy hit our community so hard?
Well, if you want to know what probably every police officer wants to say, and what I want to say is that he was killed during the George Floyd protest by an unarmed human being, okay? And Keith's delay may have cost him his life at a very sensitive time in our country. If he had shot that young man right then, who knows what Delmar would look like today. So it's sensitive timing because somebody laid down their life during the Floyd protest where every police officer was scared to do anything. So at that time, a lot of people didn't even know how to say Keith's last name, right? Heacook. But you can't go anywhere on Delmarva now and not know Keith's last name. And it's become ingrained in our society. And that is something I am extremely proud of.
Yeah. Well, thank you for putting on the festival and pushing it as hard as you do. Why do you think this festival is so important?
I gave an example a minute ago, and I'm going to rehash that. Last week, I was sitting at a restaurant and not having the best day. I was a little depressed about some things going on. Like, we got weather issues and outdoor concert issues. And I went to a restaurant, and I had a gentleman walk up to me, and he saw, of course, I wear Keith's badge number on my wrist every day. He came up to me and said, Doug, and I've never met this man in my life. He says, Doug, thank you for what you're doing. And I said, sir, do I know you? He says, no, thank you. I am a Bridgeville, Delaware police officer. And I guess his partner was with him. And he shook my hand and kind of melted into me a little bit and says, we can't thank you enough for what you do to memorialize our way of life. And that was one of the moments that said, okay, I'm doing the right thing, because it is a lot of work on the back end between, weather conditions, site conditions.
The fest is this Sunday. What can folks expect to see?
Okay, well, me, and I'll be redder than I typically am, which is always red. The Delaware State Police, Maryland State Police should land their helicopters around 1 o'clock. 1:25 sharp, Jimmy Charles will do the national anthem. We will have Wise Guys, a fantastic local regional act, perform from 1:30 to about 2:30. Jimmy Charles will take the stage at 2:45. Of course, Jimmy Charles is doing the national anthem.
Right.
He's wonderful. 2:45, then we'll kick Jimmy Charles on for about an hour, maybe 70 minutes. Then Locash takes the stage at 4:30 to about 6 o'clock. And it should be a fantastic show. We've sold a tremendous amount of tickets. And now we're hoping our parking can handle it. And parking is free at this show, by the way.
What's it like trying to wrangle these talents and volunteers?
It is so much work. And just like Locash, we weren't sure if they were going to bus in or they were going to fly.
Yeah.
So now they're flying in. That changes the complete dynamics of the show, because now you have to have the green rooms, you have to have the amplifiers, you have to have the gadgets that control the gadgets. Jimmy Charles, Wise Guys, you have stage swaps from when one band comes off and the other band comes on.
Yeah.
This will be an apolitical event, so it's not going to be the kind of event where you see politicians up there talking about platforms. None of that here. It's about one thing, and music is the great uniter of all people. And it is my philosophy. No one ever agrees on politics, but everybody agrees on music, and that's why Heacook Fest is so important. And very important for people to know that at 12:30 we are doing the road dedication, if I can say something about that. The mayor, Jordan, is picking up the signs from Gardner Sign now, who donated the sign to the cause. So both Matthew and Susan Heacook are going to be renaming the street between Wawa and McDonald's in Delmar. Right now we call it McWawa Road because there's no street name. So one of the police officers thought that would be a good name, not McWawa, but a good street to rename.
Right.
So we're going to do that at 12:30. Matthew will dedicate one side of the road and Miss Susan the other at 12:30 sharp, and that will be one that probably makes your tears flow.
All right, listen, Doug, we're out of time. We want to talk to you more, but we can't. There's one last thing that I want to ask you, just for those people who think that perhaps Doug is doing this for some self-profit or grandizement of some kind. Would you mind sharing again where you were this morning?
Oh, this morning, yeah, I woke up at 5:15, and I just thought about Keith. So I drove to the murder scene and watched the sun come up, and it was a tough day. You know, you think, when you think like PTSD and you think about what these police officers go through every day. I mean, I'm just a simpleton, and it changed my life forever, what I saw that day. And so what I hope to do is change other people's lives for the better. So yeah, sorry if I get teary, but this is all volunteer. In fact, all the money that we're raising from the ticket sales go to charity.
Yeah.
Operation We Care, Tunnel to Tower, and
Behind the Line.
And Behind the Line. So that's where I find joy. Keith died at the hands of an unarmed man, and now the only thing we can do as a community is use music to unite us, and I see you have that. I wear Keith's badge number every day. So yeah, I volunteer my time. Kyle Hughes donated the amphitheater. It's an enormous amount of work, but in a society where police seem to be a scapegoat now, I feel like events like this make us as a community stronger to speak out that there may be a slice of people in the community that don't like the police, but the overwhelming majority of us certainly do want to be able to call 911 and know that the guy coming there loves his life.
Yeah.
And that's what the mission is here. And so yeah, we hear all the time, well, what's your benefit? You're making money here, making money. No, the ticket sales all go to charity. So that's what we do.
Good man, Doug.
Appreciate your support.
Thank you so much, Doug.